This is Learn It from an 80s Song. Today, we have a very special guest. Please welcome Anthony Roman. Anthony Roman is a writer and actor living in Los Angeles, California. He's in the conservatory program at Second City Hollywood and has created and starred in the new web series Good Luck, which is now available on YouTube. Anthony is a creator, a storyteller, and he loves to make people laugh and feel less alone. Welcome, Anthony. It is so great to have you here today. One of the first podcasts of 2021.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. I love you and I love this podcast. I'm just ready to go. Let's do this.
Well, I love you. Now, how Anthony and I know each other, just real quick, is I had the absolute pleasure of getting to be in the same improv class as Anthony in January of 2020 when we had live audiences and live classes. We then
when we could actually, be in person and talk to each other face to face. Crazy to think about now.
Yeah, it is. And also such gratitude for the Zoom platform that then we were able to continue with improv in the conservatory throughout the 2020. And I got to see Anthony on a regular basis. And he is incredibly talented, incredibly funny. And I just feel so grateful to have you on this podcast today.
Thank you. I feel the same about you, Patricia. It's been so cool to see your progression too. Like from improv one, we were both just like, oh God, what are we doing? Okay. Yes, we have to say yes. And then now I see you and stuff and you're just like, yeah, I'm a mummy that lives in New York. Let's do this. So cool.
So true. Exactly. Love it. So this is the part of the show that we do the big reveal. So here it is. Can I get a drum roll, please? Anthony, what is the song that best resonates with the story you're going to tell us today?
It is Gypsy by Fleetwood Mac.
Yes. Oh my gosh. My favorite part of podcasting is listening to the song on repeat before. That's how I get ready for the session. So I'll just be completely honest, listening to the song today, I got very emotional. And especially since I kind of read, I went on Wikipedia and I read a little bit about the song. The song was written in 78, 79 is when they started working on writing the song. And then it was produced in 81 was when the song came out. And what I loved about it was they're speaking of getting started and there are these artists and they are working so hard. They're starving artists and they didn't have anything but a mattress in the floor, and how incredible that's how they began. And then they became very famous very fast. So what they ended up doing is what she shared was that how she would prepare and how she would continue to get into her artistry was when she felt things were too cluttered. She would put the mattress on the floor and then she would create. So she would kind of just declutter and let's just get focused.
Just such a cool, just a classic Stevie Nicks move. I cannot stand how cool she is. And I love how this song just really, it speaks to that, that gypsy, that wanderer, that strong woman that is, deep inside all of us. Because let's be honest, women are just so much stronger than men. So I feel very connected to my female side when I listen to this.
Yes. And I appreciate you. Shout out to the women. And I loved the nostalgia that she brought into the song as well. And I think, the year of 2020 was really about reflection. And now we are here, 2021, moving into 2021, and how we can take those lessons and the simplicity of the things that brought us joy, whether it be, a hug from my son because he liked his oatmeal, whether, and that's really what it was about, was a year of reflection and nostalgia, and then really just getting to the root, right? Getting down to the root.
Yes, exactly. And also just, finding that love for yourself in all the chaos, and the love for like your inner child. Like I tear up when I hear those lines where she talks about, if I was a child and if I loved you, I would love you. I'm
Oh,
paraphrasing, but that just
yes.
kills me every time. I can't.
Yeah, I mean, and it is such a powerful message. And I feel the same way. I just got chills, goosebumps. And because I feel that, we've gone through, for me personally, going through life, I've been extremely hard on myself, very driven, and my worst critic, and that perfectionism and all of that. And self-love, like you nailed it, Anthony. It's about 2020 really was about being with yourself. And for many people, they were completely alone. They've been alone. I have friends
Yeah.
that have been, was that you? And yes.
Oh yeah, I live alone. This was year of reflection for me by far.
Yeah. Yeah. So I want to hear your story, and you have such a powerful story, and I can't wait for our audience to hear this. So let's move right into your story, Anthony. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so ever since I was a little kid, I knew I wanted to be an architect. I was just like, and I'm a Taurus, so I'm very stubborn and very headstrong. And I was just like, I saw this cool building, I'm gonna be an architect. And I kept that for so long throughout high school. I went to college, got my bachelor's in architecture, did the internships, got the career, spent about 10 years in architecture with, education involved. And I kept feeling so uninspired, and I was getting very bitter towards the profession and just my own life, and why I I wasn't happy, and I just felt like, what's going on, what's happening? And I kept telling myself, oh no, it's because you haven't done this next thing yet. You haven't, designed this kind of building yet, or you haven't gone and done this like field work. You haven't done this experience. And so I kept pushing off what was, I knew deep down, very inevitable, was that I just wasn't happy in this profession. Um, and and then it finally got to a point where I was working a job, and it was like opening day, and it was a project that I was one of the lead designers on. It was really fun, it was really cool. And then I got to go in, I like walked the space with the other people that were experiencing it for the first time, and they were just like, this is so cool, like you're one of the designers, that's awesome. And I was like, oh yeah. And I left, I walked into my car, I sat in my car, and I thought, I feel nothing. I I was not happy, I wasn't sad, I wasn't fulfilled. It was just like, if this place burned down, I wouldn't care. This isn't what
Wow.
I'm supposed to be doing. And that was a really big catalyst for me. And so I thankfully I had saved up some paid time off. And so I um went on a camping trip just by myself, went into the
Wow.
sequoias for about like 3 to 4 days, and really just meditated on like, why am I so unhappy? Like what should I be doing if I'm not doing this? Because I've spent, almost half of my life doing this thing. What am I supposed to do? Um,
Yeah.
and I was reading The Path Made Clear by Oprah. Shout out, everyone has to read it. It's so powerful,
Amazing.
so amazing. Yeah. Um, and I was just sitting in, like, wading my feet in this river that was next to my campsite. This story sounds like a story. It doesn't even sound real, but it was just, it was really cool circumstances I was in. Um, and so I'm wading my feet in the water, and I was just thinking, like, you know what? I have so many questions in my head of, like, all these steps I'm supposed to be taking, all these details that I need to figure out right now in my life. And really what it comes down to is that life is just so much more simple than I think we allow ourselves it to be, that we
Yes.
just get stuck with the minutia of everyday life and all of the little problems that we have, and we let it consume us. I know I let it
Right.
consume me, and the perfectionist in me had to make sure everything was right. Um, and so I just thought to myself, you know what? I don't like what I'm doing. If I don't like what I'm doing, I should just stop doing it. And so I packed up my stuff the next day. I got back home. I started looking for jobs online, just like random stuff to be able to, pay the bills and make ends meet. Um, a few weeks later, I got a job as a waiter at a restaurant near my house. And I quit. I gave a week's notice at my job, and they were just like, but this isn't the plan. We had all these ideas for you. I was like, I'm not happy. I don't want to do
Wow.
this anymore. Um, and so I, some people thought it was impulsive, but I did it. I changed my life. And since then I like taught myself guitar, and I like started a poetry blog that didn't go anywhere really. Um,
Wow.
and I started improv with you. Um,
Yes.
I took that first improv class, and I was like, there's something here. There's something about this that I really enjoy, and I feel so much more joy out of than I ever did in those 10 years of doing all that architecture work. Um, and I just kind of kept following that. I didn't let any sort of, assignments or tasks take over my life anymore. And since
Mhm.
then, I've been, learning more about myself. And I actually, the past like 2.5 months, I wrote and filmed and then edited a web series that kind of chronicles my time over the past year or so. It's like semi-autobiographical. It's called Good Luck. It's on YouTube now. Check it out.
Yes, it is. And it is so amazing, guys. I don't want to cut you off, Anthony, but I want everybody to see it. I actually, I felt so privileged that I got to play a role. And
She plays
so
my very, very bitchy boss.
yeah,
And
I don't understand like
it
how I
was
ended up
great.
in that kind of role.
No. I knew you had the range. You had the range
I
for
did.
that. She's like, she has that artistic essence that.
You know what it was? It was the POVs. We did a point of view for one of our classes, and I chose Mean Girls because, I mean, those who know me, I can't even be a mean girl. Like, I can't, even if there's meanness going on, I just can't participate. It makes me feel gross to my core. So my
Oh yeah.
point of view was on Mean Girls. So,
And I
and
saw
then
that, and it was done. It was a done deal. I was like, gotta have a bad boss in this. And
here she is. Anthony, your story is incredible. How, you here you created this enormous project. You got to see it to the end, and you got in your car and felt nothing. All the accolades, all the congratulations, all the bells and whistles, everything. And it's like, huh, I'm not feeling this at all. And
yeah.
for you to listen to yourself and to tune in and then go right to the Sequoias by yourself, which is like crash course outward bound. Uh,
I would definitely recommend it to anyone. It's I mean, if you haven't gone camping, maybe go camping with a couple other people first. Don't just like rep it by yourself. It's a little scary. But yeah, there's something about it that even like the people that have been single and living by themselves in this pandemic, it's like a whole other level because you're with nothing. You don't have technology. You just have your own thoughts, and gotta learn to listen to them.
That's incredible. And that the amount of strength that it takes to listen to yourself on that level, taking out all the noise. I had an attempt once on a silent retreat.
Oh,
And yeah, there's something, right?
that wouldn't work for me. I'd be like, hey, okay, so like, when's food? When's the next meal? What's going on?
Exactly. And I mean, I made it. But one guy that I lived it with, I was in a domestic peace corps at the time, Jesuit volunteer corps. And one of my roommates at the time said, all right, Patricia, I know that you're not going to make it for the next 48 hours. So if you need someone to talk to, come get me and I'll talk to you. And I was like, oh no, don't challenge me because then it's like game on, you know?
You're just like, I'm not, that's so shady too. It's like, that's probably a very supportive friend, but I'd be like, you shady bitch, how dare you? I'm
Yeah,
gonna,
exactly. Exactly. Honestly, it was he wasn't going to make it. That was the
oh,
bottom line. Yeah. Like he was going to need to talk to somebody. But but I mean incredible that you did that, Anthony. And and it's so interesting how like I must have met you in January of 2020 just shortly after that, right?
yeah, that was, I had quit my job back in like October of 2019. And then there was a couple months where I was definitely just floating and I had no idea. And I was super scared, obviously. And I was just kind of like, oh, cool. I just blew up my whole life. What am I doing now? Like I'm working at a restaurant and I don't have any prospects, but yeah, I just kind of kept going with it, kept trying different artistic stuff. And then it's actually one of my good friends, Rachel, who's in Good Luck as well. Um, she she had told me, she's like, hey, Second City is doing this like taste of Second City class where you get to go for free and you get to try it out and you get to see how you like it. And I was kind of like, I don't know, that's a little too much. That sounds really scary. That I don't know about that. She's like, okay, well, I'll go with you if you want to go. And then that happened in December, like near the end of December. And then at that moment I was hooked and I was like, I
Yeah.
gotta go to this class. And then January, and I met you.
Yeah, that's so funny because I had also resigned from my job, my full-time management role. And you and I had walked for coffee that day. And it was like we were kind of in the same boat, you know?
We
And I was
were,
like, why not improv? Like, why not, you know?
oh
And
yeah.
so it was that was so man, we had such an incredible class. Like
Oh my gosh,
what
the wonderful
on.
wonderful Dave Colin as our
Yeah,
instructor.
so
He was
good.
amazing. Yeah, we did, and we had so many amazing people in it. Becky, who's in Good Luck,
Yeah,
she was in it too, and
yeah,
um,
so good.
just and our instructor Dave had told us, near the end of the class, I think you remember that he was like, these classes like this don't really happen. What do you mean?
No.
Like, it's like you all like each other and you're all like cool and you're all like you work with each other and you're none of you are like trying to become like a serious actor and are
Right.
make taking this way too seriously. And we're like, oh,
Exactly.
cool. So we felt it was very
Yeah.
special first class.
Supportive. Yeah, absolutely. And it really, I mean, honestly, when you have a first introduction to that type of thing and, you know, and the tone is set, it's like you kind of take that with you, along the way. So how lucky and fortunate we were to be together and to have those first, and to have our first show, and have an audience, I mean,
Yeah.
not a Zoom audience.
So okay, yeah. For people at home watching this, an audience is a group of people that come together sometimes in a small room, and they watch other people that are also in the same room. Yeah, and it's great. We might get
And
those
then,
again someday.
and sometimes people can actually be in the same room together. It's incredible.
Gosh,
Physically.
yeah, and they're naked. Their faces are just naked. There's nothing on them. It's really weird.
Oh God. Yes. Oh, way back when. Way back when. Um, so, part of this process is, all of the podcast guests take the via character strengths. And the via character strengths are really this assessment that you can take, and it's completely free, um, is really who you are to a core. The thing is, our brain is hardwired to see flaws, to see negativity. And what the doing strengths assessment does is help you see your personal strengths and help you change your perception of things. And it really does broaden and build your perception on life and perception of yourself. Any obstacles that you have that come along, what's in your toolbox. You know what strengths you have that are going to help you, that are unique to you specifically, because the VIA strengths assessment has 24 and they're all ranked, at your top strengths to your lesser strengths. Now, we don't call them weaknesses. There's no weaknesses. We all have these strengths within us. Some are exercised in ourselves more than others, right? Like any muscle group. So,
Like your dormant strengths, if you will.
right, exactly. And some people are really in their genius, to the core when they are using their top strengths. And so, what I would love to know, Anthony, is number one, what strengths, now that you've done this assessment, and, what strengths do you think you used to help you make that decision when you were sitting in the car that day and you had that moment? What helped you along the way? Which ones did you access?
Um, I think definitely the top one, because I did the assessment, guys. All of you need to do it.
Yes.
It was my first one, which is appreciation of beauty and excellence, right? I think that's
Mm-hmm.
phrasing of it.
Yes.
And I think a big thing for me was when I was sitting in that car alone, I realized something pretty profound, that the opposite of love is not hate, it's apathy. And
Mm.
um I've dealt with going very apathetic in my life. When there's a big struggle that happens, I want to go numb and I just want to block everything out. um and when I was when that first big moment of apathy hit me, um I figured, you know what, no, I don't. I want to enjoy things. I want to enjoy my life, and I want to find what that is, and I want to find what little bits of beauty I can in this world, because sometimes they come far and few between. And I'm extremely privileged because I live in the United States and I'm a white man, and so I don't have as many problems as a lot of people. And I feel like just knowing that there's a sense of obligation, that I take those privileges and I use them to the fullest to make myself happy and my world better, so that I can then help other people and make other people feel happy and feel seen.
Okay. Wow. So here's the thing. So, research shows You're just going to lose it right now, you guys. Listen to this. So, for appreciation of beauty and excellence, okay? So, this isn't, guys, this isn't like I like shiny things. I like that shiny object. It is to your core, okay? We're talking morals, values. You see beauty and excellence in people, elevated, right? So, people who have this strength, and you'll hear it in what Anthony just said, leads to more pro-social, altruistic behavior. And if you heard what Anthony just said, he was saying finding happiness within himself so that he can better help others. And that is spot on. When you are using that strength, that's the research that people see more altruistic behavior.
Wow. That's pretty cool. We did not plan that, by the way. That's not.
We did not. This is not rehearsed. This is improv. This is me and Anthony's improv on a deep level.
Yes. Third city, if you will.
Yes. And I would also have to say honesty. Now, here's the thing with honesty and how that relates to Anthony's story. That's his number 2 strength, which is people want to see that in a top strength. Businesses, if you Anthony, to your, which is why I've enjoyed getting to know you and knowing you over the past year. It's like you are an honest person. And how I would say to this is people with honesty, they also want to accurately represent their interests and their values. So their goals need to accurately represent your interest and values. And this is all from Dr. Nemec's book, via character strength. So that's where I'm getting this research, is through Dr. Nemec, who is a genius, honestly. And anyway, so how amazing is it, Anthony, that you in the car that day had that honesty moment where you're like, I am not living in my interest and in my values right now. This is not where I'm supposed to be. And how great is it that you had that strength and knew and could tune in enough to then go into the woods for 3 days?
Yeah. Well, I definitely had some practice too. Like I came out when I was 21. So like several years ago. And I think that was my big like dam breaking moment where I was like, I have to, because I was lying to myself so much, like every day, like, oh no, you're straight, it's fine. And I feel like once I allowed myself to just kind of accept that part of my life,
yes.
also to know that it doesn't have to define who I am. Like it's a part of me. It's a part of my tapestry. And
right.
And so yeah, once that happened, I feel like all the other big honesty moments just kind of came definitely a little bit easier. So I would say it's not without practice for sure.
It's not without practice. And so for our audience out there, for those of you who are interested in taking the VIA assessments, when you find out your strengths, it is important to practice them, because we do have strengths that we don't. There is strengths blindness. There are many people who are walking around the world right now who have no idea what their strengths are and therefore can't tap into them, right? But by knowing your strengths, you're going to have so many more positive outcomes. And then also, finding that way of actually being able to use those strengths, right? And practice using those strengths, because some of them come naturally, right? Some of them I use all the time, like humor is one that I use often. And as
obviously.
You do. And it's what's gotten me through a lot of tough times, right? But there are some that I needed to use more of, like For instance, curiosity. So I was like, let's get more curious about this. Let's think more about this. Let's take the time to think more about this. And you can really exercise it. And how honesty, how you went through 21 years, not being honest with yourself, and therefore, not being honest, with others, right? I mean, how challenging that is, and how you made such a significant uh, change and acknowledgement, and you acknowledged your soul, and you acknowledged yourself, as a human. And that's incredible, Anthony, and the courage that it took to do that. And honesty is courage, guys. That's the virtue of courage.
Oh my gosh. Absolutely. It's easy to lie, and it's easy to lie to yourself.
Definitely. Like when my pants were getting tight over quarantine, I was like, oh no, I just dried these too long.
Oh God, don't get me started. There's been so many clasped buttons that I'm just like, I know it's the wash. It's not. It's definitely not that entire chocolate cream pie that I ate last week. This is an outside force that's happening right now.
Yeah, exactly. So I had to find that honesty strength in me, and start making some some decisions. So honestly, so great that you use those strengths. What are also, oh, I have them right in front of me. You also have humor, obviously, is your number 3, which you'll see also in his amazing web series, guys. Good luck. You got to see his humor comes out, and he's amazing. And then hope, and then curiosity is your number 5, and perspective is your number 6. So hope is really important right now. All right. Closing out 2020, moving into 2021. And this is a great time to ask you, how, now that you know these strengths, Anthony, how are you going to continue to use them now in 2021?
So I have 2 answers. One is a very promotional lead up. I'm going to be putting all these to work in my 2nd season of Good Luck that'll hopefully air in March. That's my goal.
Yay! You put it out there.
It's
happening.
I did.
It just happened.
Uh-oh. Did I say March? I mean, in months. Undisclosed months. Okay.
It's happening.
Yeah, a much more ethereal answer would be very carefully and painstakingly, because I feel like it's so easy to get trapped in our routines, and not just our daily routines of grocery store, picking up kids, doing this, doing that, but our mental routines that we're stuck in of, oh, you know what, this lady was kind of mean to me, at Ralph's today. Let me think of a argument to have in my head about her for the next 25 minutes.
Right.
Those fucking terrible mind death traps that we get ourselves into.
100%. We all have them. We all have them.
So,
and it's
so I was just going to say, just being a lot more conscious of that. And now that I've taken this VIA assessment, that's been pretty life-changing too, because I'm able to see not only the things that I am very strong in and are to my core, a part of my essence, but also the things that aren't necessarily as heightened, and the things that I want to heighten. Curiosity is something that I definitely, I have waves of curiosity, if that makes any sense. So I have moments that I'm like, oh, I want to try this new thing, or oh, I want to learn about this, and then it peters off, and I don't stick with it. I think definitely in 2021, I want to stick with those curious strands and see where they take me.
Absolutely. And I imagine it took a little bit of curiosity to put together Good Luck, Yeah,
that was definitely something that if I knew now what I know then, sorry, if I knew then what I know now, I don't
Yeah.
know if I would have made it. like
Really?
actually made it to put it together, because
Because it
it's
was
like
so much work.
it was so much, there were so many aspects of like cinematography and lighting that I had to teach myself, and thankfully I got a lot of free time now.
Yeah.
But but yeah, there was so many things, so many YouTube tutorials that I watched, and little classes and seminars that I took in order to make sure that this was something that was going to be something I was proud of, and something that I could say, oh yeah, like I did this thing. And
Yeah.
it might not be like Netflix or network worthy, but it speaks to who I am, and it looks at least a little bit good.
It looks amazing. I don't know how you did it and how you put, when you watch it, guys, you'll see there's video conference calls that he has on his, on the screen. And I'm like, how did he even do that? It's so, I can't even imagine the technical piece behind putting that web series together.
Yeah, it was, like I said, lots of hours in front of the computer, just like going through, definitely scrubbing through the first 3 minutes of every YouTube tutorial. That's like, we're gonna teach you how to do this first, let's organize your folders. It's like, no,
Right. I'm like,
I want to
oh,
know I want to know
yeah.
how to fix the color grading on this one video. Just show me this.
Exactly.
Next, we're gonna talk about sound. It's like, no, I don't want to talk about sound. just
Yeah.
just
Oh my
teach
God.
me.
I have one question.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness. That must have taken a lot of perseverance, to do that. And I don't know where that is on your strengths, but that, I imagine you dialed in perseverance on that one. So that's great. It's there. It's there. It's in your lesser strengths, but no doubt that you exercised you exercise perseverance for
I
sure.
really went for it. I think a part of me knew, before I took the assessment, I was like, I feel like if there was qualitative facts about my strengths and their levels, I think perseverance might be low. So let me put this a little higher.
Yeah. Well, you definitely have worked that strength. So you exercise that perseverance muscle. Um, okay. So back to, like, I want to just circle back to Gypsy once again, because I like to connect all the dots. Was there a part of Gypsy, you chose the song? I want to dig a little deeper into why you selected the song and how it resonated with your story.
Yeah, so I think like I was saying before, the Gypsy to me is just like, it's a very like free and fearless kind of essence. Um that Stevie Nicks talks a lot about. And but it's also so incredibly grounding, like how you said before, that she would just lay a bare mattress on the floor to be able to get back to her roots of all this. I feel like there's um there's a pretty profound duality in this song and in the just the Gypsy itself, that I felt, when I listened to this, I feel very connected. And like I said, that incredibly strong woman that is inside all of
She
us.
is. Absolutely. Absolutely. So good. Such a great song. Love that it was 80s and it was right there in the very beginning of the 80s, and sometimes when I know a song, guys, is like close to the 70s, I'm like, oh, please let this be 80s. And I
Yeah.
was like, I saw it and I was like, yes,
I
so
I researched it because I knew Fleetwood Mac was big in this like mid to late 70s. And at first I was like, oh, it's Landslide. Like I love Landslide. That's like one of
yeah,
the first songs I can
love that
remember
song.
hearing as a child. And I was like, oh, this works great. And I started like write down all the reasons why it works. And then I'm like, maybe I should look this up. And I looked it up, and it was released in 1975 or 76. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
okay, but what's
Yes.
what's
Good,
another
good song
song
choice.
that goes with this? I feel like Gypsy goes a little bit better with.
It does. Isn't it fun? Like I mean, most guests that I've had, they love the process of picking their song.
It's so fun. And I think it's like it's such a just a testament to your creativity that instead of just like, oh, let's have a podcast about, life experiences and talk about that and how people have gotten through it, but like being able to tie it to something so visceral as a song from 40 plus years ago, is pretty tremendous. And I definitely applaud you on making this whole process just incredibly more fun and easy. So
Yes. Well, thank you. And I do love the 80s. And when I learned recently that it was 40 plus years ago, because I hadn't really done the math. And because I
oh,
still think
sorry,
I'm like,
it
yeah.
was like 20 years ago. It was 20. Don't
Yeah.
worry. It's okay.
It doesn't feel like that long ago, guys, does it? So, Anthony, what was your first 45? A 45 is a record, guys. So 45, for those of you who are
Yes.
listening that are not familiar with a 45, it's not a gun, okay? In this reference, it is like and on a record player, you would put this little round thing on it, okay? And then you would put the small single record. So it was a single. A 45 had a single on it. And then it had an A side and a B side. And so you would put your 45 on there and you get to listen to the one song, and you just pick the record player thing back up again and put it back on, and you can just repeat. Now you don't get to click it. You actually have to go over, lift the thing, put it back on so you can listen again.
Use your hands, do something actually tactile instead of just sitting there.
Yeah.
It's a crazy thought.
Yeah. You get to delay the gratification just a little bit. So tell me about your first 45.
So my first 45, it's Here Comes the Sun. So Abbey Road, the
Mm,
Beatles.
yes.
Um, it was a pretty special record for me because I got it as an inheritance when my grandma passed. I
Oh,
was so close to her, and
oh
it
wow.
was a real big blow. She was like one of the last surviving matriarchs of my family, and I
Oh,
was very fortunate to grow up with just incredibly like strong women at the helm.
wow.
Um, and so when she passed, it was really rough. It was really tough on me and my family. Um, and we went and had to clean her house out, and I found it, and I was like, Mom, can I please have this? And she's like, Yeah, I think she wanted you to have it anyway. And I got the record before I had my record player. and and so it was the catalyst for me to get my record player finally. I got one. I started it up. I was like, this is so exciting. This is so cool to be like, it's so tactile and it's
Yeah.
so visceral, and played it, immediately started crying because it had
Oh.
that just like that vinyl crackle
Mm,
that has age to it. And it
love
was
that.
it was just I the second I heard that, I was hooked, and now I have over 100 plus records in my collection. Um,
Really?
yeah, some
Oh
that
wow.
some more that I inherited from my grandma, some that my aunt, she doesn't have a record player anymore. She's like, yeah, I'll give you some, and so I got my whole Fleetwood Mac collection from her, and getting stuff from friends, flea markets, the Amoeba records, all that stuff. So it's been
That
definitely a passion for a while since that moment.
that is incredible. Yeah, I love that you have records. That is incredible. Wow. Wow. I love it, Anthony. That's so good. I love that crackle sound. I can really hear it. I can feel it. I can feel the records, the heaviness of them, especially
Yeah.
the old records, from the 60s and 50s and back, you could really
Oh yeah.
feel the heaviness of those records.
Oh yeah.
Um,
That's
so
like
good.
that's something that I feel so incredibly LA douchey when I say it, but it's just a fact that like it's the way music is supposed to be listened to.
We have one more thing we have to do. We always love an action item for our audience. So, Anthony, do you have an action item that, you're to really connect with our audience on your experience? Because we do learn from story and we learn from song. But what can our audience put into place right away that you think that would help them?
I think I would say listen to the whispers in your life. Because there's so many times that there's so many loud voices that are screaming at us, whether in our heads or like in real life, that are saying, oh no, you're supposed to be doing this, you have to be doing this, you need to worry about this thing and this thing and this thing. Those little whispers in those very few moments in life can really change everything for you. Like for me, it was, I had my feet in the river and I was just looking up at the trees, and I just thought, this life is simple. That it just came to my head, and I was just like, that's it. I just have to follow this. So I
Yeah.
say listen to the whispers.
Listen to the whispers. Anthony, our audience needs to know how we can get a hold of you, because like I said, guys, I binge watched Good Luck, his web series on YouTube, and it's magnificent. So, Anthony, how do people get a hold of you?
Yeah, so you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Antony the Roman. So it's like my name, but without the H, ANTONYTHEROMAN. I'm, on Facebook like everyone else, but it's kind of hard to find. And then you can check out my web series, Good Luck. It's on YouTube now. The channel is called Good Luck as well. And the link to it is in my bio on Instagram and Twitter. So if you're having a hard time finding a relatively obscure web series on YouTube, then just go straight to my bio on Instagram.
Love it, Anthony. Thank you again for being an amazing guest and bringing in your vulnerability. I know our audience today learned so much from you, and bringing in such an amazing song that we get to talk about today.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun. And now,
So fun.
We have an excuse to listen to more Fleetwood Mac, which I think during these times everyone needs. Everyone needs a little more.
We all need more Fleetwood Mac. Yes, we do. We do. Well, thanks again. And until next time.